Hello and welcome back to the Cartoonist Studio, where you'll find me freezing because it's ridiculously cold for summer. The UK, you've got to hate that about it. The weather's awful. It's hammering down with rain out there. The wind is blowing a hoolie. The trees are going like that. Crazy June. What's going on? I'm going to have to leave the country. Does anyone know of a nice warm country that takes in cartoonists? Let me know in the comments below. Give me some suggestions of where I can go. And let's keep it clean. Right, okay, today's video. Whilst the wind's blowing a hoolie out there, I thought I would do another one of those such and such versus such and such. Like I did one a while ago about the dip pen versus the brush. How I like it. The pros and the cons, should we say. And that was one of my best or most viewed video. And YouTube like that kind of stuff. They send me letters and say, we love this kind of stuff. So do some more, or else we'll send the boys round. So rather than have them send the boys round, I've taken a picture. I've taken a picture of a character from one of my books, which is available from Amazon. The universal link is down below, along with all the rest of them. And the book is called Dad Jokes, those god-awful jokes. A little bit more about that later. All I'm doing is I've got that picture, one of the characters, and I've drawn him twice. It's the son, the boy. Drawn him twice. And I'm going to do inking one with the faithful brush, one of my brushes that I use for almost everything, sorry. I'm going up against it with a brush pen. And for the little bits and pieces in between, I'll use these little micron or uni pens or whatever. You can get them from, we use a shop called WH Smith's. I don't know whether you have them anywhere else around the world, but they're basically a stationer's. You get a pen section out the back and they're quite cheap. And so I thought, right, we'll try it. We'll see what we can do with the two. I got the brush, which you have to do everything with, from the thick to the thin lines. Then you have the brush pen, which you can do the thick lines with in a certain amount of thick and thin, but you can't do a massive amount of detail with these things. We'll get into that afterwards. And that's where these pens come in. So either 1 or 3, possibly 4 or 5, depending on what kind of shading you want to use, I guess. So with that in mind, shall we zoom ahead and see what kind of a mess I can make of this picture? Yes, let's do that. Right, okay, first things first. I think we'll go with the brush pen here. Now, this is it. You just do normal lines like so, or you can start light and then put a bit more pressure on it and it goes thicker, like so. Do that a bit faster. So on and so forth. Right, so there you go. So that's the lines you can get. That's about the thinnest, and I'd say that's about the thickest. Right, okay. Let's go and do the proper thing now, shall we? Let's do that. Okay, so here we have the first pencil picture. Like I said, I've done 2 of them. And just to prove the point, there we go. There they both are. That's the 2 pictures. Identical character. Same size, everything. They should be, because I light boxed them through just to make sure they were exactly right. So I have to try and remember to work with thick and thin, just like I do with the brush. So we'll start here. I'll do a bit of a thick line there, and so on there. And just keep going around and around, just as I would with a brush. I'm trying to keep it there, because I do love drawing with a brush. So I'm trying to give it a fair appraisal of what it's like working with these pens. Like I know a lot of cartoonists who just draw with the various pens, not necessarily the brush pen, but the pens, and they're more than happy doing it. So a lot of cartoonists do. I think, in fact, it's probably more doing that than say do it my way, which is with a brush or a dip pen. we're a dying breed. All the modern cartoonists tend to sort of use pens now. I can understand, because the definite advantage to these is they're quicker. You don't have to be constantly stopping and dipping it in the ink pot and then coming back over and just testing the first line, and that side of inking with a brush or a pen is a real pain in the butt, I'll tell you. But I just love the freshness of the line. There you go, we've gone from thin to thick there. Here we'll keep it sort of uniform, should we say, no thick and thin, just the same size line. And here we go again, thicken the line there. So far, I was going to wait till the end and sort of have a what would you say? What would I call it? Have a kind of a recap, I guess. But I don't think I will. I think I'll go through it as I'm doing it. So far, the downside of this is when I first bought this brush pen, the fibre on the end, or whatever it is that they use for this, was a lot harder, a lot tougher, and the lines were more precise. I've only used it a few times. I've not used it a massive amount of times, but I already realised that they have a fairly short shelf life. Now, I don't know whether that's more to do with the quality or the brand, if they have brand leaders or anything else like that. I don't know. If they do, let me know in the comments below. I'm always open to new suggestions, but I get the impression that these pens are, like everything in this world, I suppose, not built to last. So their main problem to me is the fact that their longevity. They don't have it. There we go now, I'll just do this. Whereas with the brush, as long as you clean it and look after it every time, it will it'll be very good. It will last you a good few many years, actually. So whilst I'm talking here, I should have done something properly here. Don't be too surprised if you find out that I've messed up again. I'm looking for a particular number on the pen. I don't think I've got it. It should be there it is. Stop looking, everyone. Stop looking, all those people in Pennsylvania. I found it. Here it is. This is a much thinner pen. So whereas with the brush I'd normally just do a thinner line by applying lighter pressure, I guess, on the brush. Here I just get another pen out, a smaller one, and that's all it is. So so with this particular drawing I'm only using, say, 2 pens, the brush and then this one. But you can already see the difference between the thickness, the thick lines there, and the thin. They come out quite nicely. And it is so much easier because you haven't got to worry about, I can go around in a complete circle. With a brush, I have to go around to about there and then stop and then bring it around here, because otherwise the bristles go bending, twisting, get all confused and get very upset, and before I realise it, their union representative is on my doorstep. The allied brush makers and, I don't know, I'm just inventing stuff now. So that's that, and then the folds here. Folds here. So yes, it's it's handy. It's definitely quicker. This picture is done in virtually no time at all. Like I say, no worries about having to come at different angles for everything. You just do them. And then this is another way of how I'm going to do this. I think I'll give it lines like this. You can shade it. I know I can do solids with the brush and the pen, but I didn't want to do. I think in the cartoon itself, I think he's got solid black trousers because it's a black and white book. but for the sake of showing techniques and what have you, I will just shade them in. Right, okay, so that's that one. Yeah, I think I do this as well. Most of them I do this. Give the boot of the shoe, the sole. Right, so there you go. So that is the pen. I shall now scramble off and try and do professional things and come back in a couple of seconds with a brush. See you in a couple of seconds. Welcome to this week's sponsor of the video. It's me again, because YouTube tell me you can't do a sponsorship unless you've got 1 million followers and 800,000 billion hours worth of viewing or something like that. And I say, you know what? Sod you, YouTube. I can do it. I'll do it myself. So this week's video is sponsored by the Dad Jokes book. Now, what is the Dad Jokes book? Well, the Dad Jokes, most of you know, are those awful jokes that dads come out with. We can't help ourselves. It's what we do. So I've created the father figure, and he's got a teenage daughter and a teenage son, and whatever they say, he comes out with a grown, worthy joke. As a matter of fact, if you pick up the book and you look at the joke, you read the joke, and you think, oh God, that was awful, then it's done its job. It's the ideal gift for every father, grandfather, uncle, in fact, any older male member of the family, or just anyone who enjoys a good giggle at cartoons. The link for the book is in the description below. It's a universal link, which means that it doesn't matter where you are in the world. When you click on it, it takes you to the Amazon that deals with your region or country. So I've even made that easy for you. And whilst you're down there, you can see all the other books that I do. Or when you go onto Amazon, you go to my authors page and see the rest. I'm trying to constantly update them. It's not always that easy, but I'll come up with book ideas. So if you think this is an ideal book for either you to read or a gift for someone, it's ideal for Father's Day, Christmas, birthdays. It's a little gift, 40 jokes in each book, just a bit of a laugh. So if you like that, hop along to Amazon and purchase a copy. It's also a great way of supporting me and this channel. And if you do that, I'm eternally grateful. And if you want to buy any more of my books, I'm even more grateful. And if you want to buy them all, I'll probably move in with you. Right, that's it. That's the sponsorship over with. Now let's go and see what kind of an unholy mess I can make of the next one, shall we? Let's do that. And here we go. We've got another piece of paper ready to do the... I would never normally do the thickness and thin lines on a brush. I'm just doing this for the purpose of the picture. And already there's a downside to it. Look at that. That's just taking the top off the ink pot. Honestly, I'm like a smudgy little ink smear when I finish a day's work. It's terrible. Yeah, what I would normally do is I just go straight into the picture. But because this is... kind of a pros and cons thing, I will do the same thing with the brush as I did with the pen and just do a few strokes, get into the swing of things. So we'll do the thinnest line I can possibly do is like that, and then a thicker line. There you go. I probably could go thicker, but I don't really need to. And then go from thin to thick. There you go. Are you excited about that? Right. Let's file that down there somewhere. And we'll come back to the second picture and we'll get cracking. And I have a lot more control over a brush. And it's not because I use the brush all the time, because the technique I'm giving this picture as opposed to the other one is exactly the same. The first thing you'll notice is the speed. You have to control the flow of the ink, or rather I do. So you do it a bit slower, a bit more slowly. I don't know whether I've got all these zits in the same place as I had on the other one, I'm not sure. Probably pure guesswork. But that doesn't really matter, that's immaterial, it's just technique. And then I saw a bit of a lighter line to a thicker line, Same here. Just complete the cap. No, actually, I'm not going to do it. I am going to complete the cap, but I was going to sort of show you the differences. But I'm not going to do that right until the end, because this is going to be a much, much shorter video than the drivel you normally get. Oh, yes. I'm going to let you off early. You're all going to leave class early this time. Speaking about class, it's coming to the summertime again, isn't it? Don't get me started on summertimes over in this place. God almighty. They said in the Bible it'll rain for 40 days and 40 nights. That's considered a good summer over here. Ridiculous. Anyway, come the summer, I do cartoon courses. Because there's that private school across the road. They say, would you mind coming over and drawing some pictures for us? We have students coming from all over the world, and they want to learn to be a superb cartoonist. And they say, do you know a superb cartoonist? I say, no, I don't. But whilst you're waiting to find one, I'll come over and draw some pictures. Oh, that's super. Absolutely wonderful. Spiffing. Very good. So I draw some cartoons for them. I go over there and I do these cartoon courses. And last year I did one, and it was popular. And they said, will you come back and do it again next year? So I said, yes, I'll do that. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm teaching cartoon skills. And that made me think, I don't know, maybe people on this channel would like to, because I get people from all levels on this channel. I get people who are already cartoonists who want to just learn some more techniques, see how another cartoonist approaches the same situation as they do, if you like. And then I get other people who are complete novices who want to become cartoonists. They're thinking, right, I'll go to a professional. And because they can't find one, they come to me instead. So I thought, well, there are people out there that want to learn the tricks of the trade, and also a little bit about the trade. It's not all about just drawing these pictures. It's about getting your work ready to send out to an agent or a newspaper or magazine. It's how to go about approaching them, what to send, what to say in a cover letter, all these things. And I thought that maybe I should produce a book. I thought there's so many how to draw cartoons or how to be a cartoonist book out there. And I thought, well, I've got my Buy Me a Coffee page, which some of you have already bought me a coffee. Some of you bought me more than one coffee, and I'm really, really appreciative of that. And it's so kind of you to do it. And I will be mentioning names soon. Link in the description below for that. So if you enjoy what I do, another way of supporting me, buy me a coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I'll take the money and I'll go and buy a cup of tea instead. But on there's also a section that you can go to and purchase, shall we say, behind a paywall. So I thought maybe I might do some courses on how to draw cartoons. And you go along there and you pay for whatever it is you want to do. I'll name it. So you're not just coming onto it blind thinking, well, I wonder what this week's is, I'll pay for it. Oh, damn, I don't want to know about that. It will be, basics like how to draw the body using shapes. Then there'll be more advanced ones on action poses, where to use action. There'll be other ones on how to approach a greeting card company, how to approach single panel market, syndicates, all this kind of stuff. So whatever it was, it would be named as such. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. If you think this is a good idea, if it's something you think that you'd like to get involved in or know more about, then let me know. And whilst you're down there, whilst you're fiddling around with controls whilst I'm doing all this technical stuff up here, there's a little thing there with the liking and subscribing. And if you do that, then down comes this dangly bell thing on the very top. There's one that moves around like crazy because YouTube wants you to notice that one. And that's the one that says also if you like and subscribe to the channel. And then you get the dangly thingy potato and you click on all, then YouTube will send you every little bit of rubbish I do. It's got to be a good deal, hasn't it? And it's free. I don't charge for this stuff. You can support me in many ways, but I never charge for it. And if you never support me in your entire life, I'll never know. And yeah, you can do that. Plus, of course, there's all the books to buy. God, I'm so busy. Almost done here now, so I suppose the last bit to do. Oh, a bit wrong. Last thing to do would be for me to. Yeah, I will still do the same as for the trousers as I did for the previous one, but with this, very thin lines. So I really have to just almost feather the page with a brush to get the lines this thin. I haven't done his hair, have I? Do that now. There we go, so that's that. And just the final bit here. I have to do it fairly slow, nice light line, and then coming towards the end, just thicken it. Not my normal paper, it's just normal photocopy paper. Normally it is a smoother paper. And there you have it. I'm just going to go and clean the brush of ink. Always about maintenance of your brush. Look after the brush, and the brush will look after you. Sure, that's part of another phrase, but I'll use it for brushes for now. So I'll pause the video and I'll come back, and then we will go over the two cartoons and see the pros and the cons. You want to do that? Yeah, we're going to do that. Brilliant. We'll do that then. I'm back. I never go too far. Right, another point to make. When I said I'm going to clean the brush and maintain it, just a little tip is this obviously is the handle, those are the bristles, and that metal bit there is the ferrule. Now, when you're cleaning it, normally just run it under a tap and wash it, that's absolutely fine. But every now and again, every say third or fourth time you use it, you get yourself a bar of soap, old soap, you don't need the new stuff, and you wet the brush and you run it into here until there's a little a clogging of soap on the end here, and then rub that in, not like that, don't sort of push it down or bend it over, just go with the flow of the bristles. And what it does is the soap, it actually draws out any ink that has gone into the ferrule, down through the brush strokes and into the ferrule. It takes it out, because if you leave that ink in there, eventually it thickens and causes the bristles to sort of go like that. And you have a buildup of dried ink, which means that the bristles soak up less ink, and you have to keep on dipping the pen in, and eventually the bristles go like that, and you have to throw the pen away. So there you go. There's a little technique on how to clean your brush properly. I'll put that away with other brushes. Right, the two pictures. Now, for the sake of getting them a bit closer together so we can see. Now, this here, that is with the pen. This is with the brush. So I shall remove some pencil lines so we can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. There we go. Now, immediately you can see, at least I hope you can see, that the lines on the pen, that's the pen, as opposed to the lines on the brush, it's going to go everywhere now, isn't it? Are a lot thicker with the pen. There's less control. Now, I know you can get different thicknesses. I think they do three. You know, small, medium, and large. It's quite basic. So you could technically have a thinner brush point on that one, but that's kind of like defeating the object. So you can either, a way around that, you either enlarge the picture, draw it much bigger, so you can get the lines around like this, and then when it reduces, it'll probably come out looking like this anyway. So that's the one thing. Less control on the thickness and thin. Like with the brush, you can see there's so much more. There's so many. The lines are so much thinner, and they can go a lot thicker, and you can just play an awful lot more with it. So far as control of line is concerned, to me, the brush is a definite winner. Speed, time needed. If you've got a lot of work to get out, and you just need to get it out as fast as possible, pen every time, every damn time. I mean, I know that you might have to use 2 or 3 pens to get the same effects that the brush can give you, but it doesn't matter. It was still done in probably 2/3 of the time. So pen's going to win out every time. What else have we got? Actual flow of the character, the movement in the character, is it affected more by pen or by brush? I'd probably say neither one nor the other. What do I prefer? Personally? See, it has its moments. If I drew it bigger, I'd enjoy the pen. And if the pen could keep its point for more than a few months, then I definitely say that the pen is a huge advantage over the brush. And the paper is, like I say, this is just basically photocopy paper. Normally when I draw cartoons, if it's a comics page or a comic strip, I'll do it either on Bristol board or smooth cartridge paper. So it's quality paper. And the brush is brilliant for that, absolutely brilliant for that. This will work on that paper, it'll work on the cartridge, it'll work on the Bristol board, it'll work on this paper as well. So for the durability of working on different surfaces, once again, the pen comes out above the brush. Because on here, it doesn't hold so well. Like this line is blacker than that line. Even though this is black into your ink, you know, you can't get any blacker than that. It's sharper here than it is on here. The second I used the eraser to rub out the lines, it took the shine off the ink. It didn't over here. Another advantage to a pen over a brush is, particularly if you're working in something like a Bristol board, which is a shiny surface and takes a bit longer for the ink to dry, if you're doing the thin lines, it's fine. You can do a thin line when you hand over straight away and it's dry. If you have to do a thick line like here to come to a thin line and you just catch it, it's likely to smudge. This thing here, draw the line and do that straight away. Oh, it did, it smudged. Oh my God, I didn't think it would. Okay, all right, fair enough. That's a thick line. Oh, this is a different brush. This is a much thicker one. See, this is a thick line. So how thin could I get that line? Quite thin, actually. Yeah, and of course, they don't last very long either. I know I did that, and I made a complete ass of myself, but normally you can do the line, and then you can run your finger across it a bit, and it won't smudge. I know you can remove it in Photoshop, but if you're doing an original cartoon that's going out as it is, you don't want it smudging. So that's a disadvantage to this and an advantage to that. But the biggest disadvantage to a pen over a brush is the length of time you can keep it. Now, my brushes, I don't buy the most expensive brushes around. So the brushes will probably cost me a couple of pounds, a couple of dollars, yen, whatever you use. These, I'll probably get a pack of these pens, 3 of them, for about the same price as I get one brush. But if I only used one of the brushes, I would probably use about, I know it's a big gap. I'd say between 50 to 100 of these to one of those. May even be more than 100. So cost effectiveness wise, this may be more expensive than one of these, but it's going to last and last and last and last because they're made to last. Therefore professionals. So overall, I would say the pen came out on top with the pros and the cons. But what is my personal favourite? The brush. Every time. The brush is just so durable. It takes a bit longer to get to understand and to use, but once you have learned that, that's what it is. It's great. It works for me every time. So yeah, there you go. That's today's tutorial. Okay, I do hope that was informative. I hope that answers some questions for you, because I know there are plenty of you cartoonists out there who do use the pens. You're the younger generation and you use the more modern things, and why wouldn't you? That's your era. My era was dip pens and brushes, so that's what I was brought up with. And I was also told by an agent that it's very difficult to learn to draw with a brush, and not everyone can do it, so don't go. "Wah." And the worst thing you can do to me is tell me I can't do it, because I will. I mean, when I was at school, I was told never be an artist, so I proved the point. I was dyslexic. They say, that's it. Forget words. So I wrote a novel. It's not I look for challenges. It's just that if someone gives me a challenge and I think, no, I can do that, I'll go for it. So yeah, that's basically the agent sort of said, no, it's difficult. Not everyone can do it. Right, here we go. I'm going to do it. And I did it. I learned. So it is a process. And I think knowing how to use a brush helps you to navigate a brush pen. If you just go out and buy a brush pen, then you probably won't get the same effects as I do, because I'm applying the pen to the techniques of the brush, the techniques I've learned from using a brush. I know when to make a line thin and when to make it thick, what will make that picture look good. And the best way you can do that is to go out and buy anything by Uderzo. He was the creator or co-creator of Asterix the Gaul. This guy knew how to use a brush. Or if he didn't, his assistant did. But the brushwork on that is just exemplary. In fact, a lot of the Franco-Belgian cartoon work, tremendous brushwork, fantastic. They're trying to emulate it now in iPad. I think, why just stick to paper and brush? That's what it is. So hopefully you picked up some useful tips and information. And God help you if I did something right. Well done me. And come back for the next one where we'll do something else. I've no idea what it is. I never have got any idea what's going on. But I'm sure we'll have some fun doing it. I hope we will. And like and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, then there's plenty of stuff in the description below, the books and what have you. Buy me a coffee. All excellent ways. And of course, the Dad Jokes book, which was the advertisement for this week's video. Right, have a great fortnight. I have got an idea coming up soon, which will be a video in between, so you'll still get your fortnightly videos, and there'll be an extra one the week between, so you'll sort of get them every week for a period. I'm working on it. I'll let you know more as and when I know. Until then, have a great 2 weeks away, have a great fortnight, and I will see you on the next video. And until then, bye-bye for now.